Well, this is going to trigger the conspiracy-brained MAGA people. House Speaker Mike Johnson made one of the wildest claims yet about Donald Trump's connection to Jeffrey Epstein, which is that Trump was an FBI informant. Trump's relationship with Epstein was merely to inform on him to the FBI. You've got to hear this. And the number of ways in which this is totally wacky, check it out.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms.
He was an FBI informant, and he was trying to take this stuff down. Now, there's a critical detail about this from the Daily Beast that kind of explains everything. And that quote is, when asked to confirm his claim that Trump was an FBI informant, a spokesperson for Johnson sent the Daily Beast the following statement. The speaker is reiterating what the victim's attorney said, which is that Donald Trump, who kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, was the only one more than a decade ago willing to help prosecutors expose Epstein for being a disgusting child predator. So this is, unfortunately, about the words being used. When Mike Johnson says Trump was an FBI informant, he is using the term in the way law enforcement usually does. So we're talking about someone who is recognized by the FBI, regularly provides information in exchange for, sometimes it's immunity, sometimes it's reduced charges, sometimes it's just cash. It's a documented relationship. You often have a handler. There are reports. There are sometimes legal agreements. Johnson used the term FBI informant, but that's not what he meant. What Johnson is trying to do is rebrand the decades-old claim that Trump once passed info about Epstein to authorities and say he was an FBI informant. But there's no indication that Trump was an FBI informant. And even Johnson's office is now saying, we're kind of just repeating what somebody else said. Now, interestingly, FBI informants are often criminals themselves. And the reason they're informing is it's a way to avoid prison. They meet with agents, they wear wires, they help build a case. They don't just call once and go, hey, Epstein. That's not how being an FBI informant works. If Trump were really an FBI informant, there would be records, there would be handler notes, there would be some kind of cooperation. If such a thing existed, and by the way, it's not something Trump would sit quietly on for decades. This is a guy who brags about winning golf tournaments when he was the only player. If that was real, Trump would have already talked about it. Now, the problem with Johnson's loose use of the term is actually bigger than just the fact that it doesn't seem Trump was an FBI informant. Epstein wasn't kicked out of Mar-a-Lago right after Donald Trump supposedly found out what Epstein was up to. It took over a year after Epstein's indictment. So that's also a lie. And if Trump was helping the FBI, remember that there are rumors that Epstein was Mossad. A lot of the same deep staters believe that Epstein was working as an intelligence officer for the Israeli Mossad. If that were true, you're saying that it's an FBI informant informing about a Mossad informant or asset? None of this makes any sense whatsoever. And the funniest part of MAGA Mike Johnson saying this is that MAGA world has spent years painting FBI informants as the ultimate villains, painting FBI assets as the ultimate villains. Think back to the January 6th riots. They were FBI assets. There's nothing worse that you could be. Informants are deep state plants. They're government snitches. They're the real reason that January 6th was fake. And so the conservative media that has spent endless years now demonizing people who work for the FBI, insisting that it's part of a conspiracy to frame Trump. Now, all of a sudden, Johnson goes, oh, he was an FBI informant in order to defend Donald Trump. It's an instant reversal of the conditioning that they've given MAGA. And this is the problem with the Epstein story. They conditioned MAGA one way for years, and now they're going, actually, there's not really anything to see. Oh, Trump was going to show you all the stuff that there was to see. There really isn't anything to see. Oh, no, the FBI is terrible and working with them means you're part of the deep state. Trump was working with the FBI. They will say anything about any issue if it'll work to defend Donald Trump. Now, on the bonus show today, We are going to talk about young Democrats eager to unseat older Democrats, but young Republicans seem more okay waiting. Why is that? We'll also talk about the artificial food dye stuff related to RFK Jr. A lot of interesting new details coming out about that. We will also talk about how Republican leaders are not going to help Thomas Massie get himself reelected because Donald Trump actually wants him out. Civil war is growing. Get instant access to the bonus show. I encourage you to sign up. The #1 funding source for the show, membership at joinpakman.com. Get a half-price membership by using the coupon code. It will end soon. I'll see you on the bonus show. I'll be back here tomorrow.